are listening on ACIM Gather. And now thank all of you who are watching this video excuse me, on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to be talking about a new program that we have started at the CMC called the Healing Team. I'm going to give you a little history about it, try to explain it to you a little bit, because there have been a number of questions about it. Plus, I'm real excited about it, so I want to talk about it. So the fact that CMC has a healing list and a prayer list is nothing new. So this is actually an evolution of something that we have been doing for a very long time, but we're expanding it. We're changing the way that we're doing it. So we first started having a healing list when we first started our First Friday healing ritual, which was in 1991. So we did our first Friday healing ritual just about 26 years ago, 1991. Reverend Deuce Althea was at that first Friday healing ritual. Actually, at the second First Friday healing ritual, Reverend Deuce Althea and I went out for dinner. It was our first date. Aww. We went to Weeby Sushi down on Valencia Street. Had a little raw fish and rice. So we did the healing ritual every first Friday of every month, and people have always asked us occasionally to pray for them. Because we're an established organization, people will write us, or then they emailed us or call us, people from all over, not just members of our local congregation. So we would write these down, and at the First Friday healing ritual, we would work on that list. Course in Miracles says prayer is the medium of miracles. Prayer is the natural communication of the created with the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. So, miracles are expressions of love. That's the most common definition of miracle in A Course in Miracles. It's all over the Miracles Principles. And so, it seemed only natural to express love through prayer, through miracles, with the consciousness that we had. We're A Course in Miracles students, and we are doing our best to move our minds to higher consciousness, to more of a connection with the divine. So when people ask us for help, they're asking for love, and we can express love in the highest form that we can just by being there and accepting that. So that was always, as I said, we've done this since 1991. I don't know when it evolved, but at some point early on, we started calling these things appearances. So instead of saying that so-and-so had cancer, let's say, we would say so-and-so had the appearance of cancer, because we didn't want to affirm that that was the truth about them, but it was what the appearance was. And so if you were listening, for those of you who have been here for the gathering, when I read the healing list, we have things on it like right now, like Mark, the appearance of having a brain injury and tumor and subsequent schizophrenia, anxiety, and depression. So it's the appearance. Mark has that appearance. Mark isn't even somebody I know. Mark just found our website, saw that we did this, and just spontaneously asked us to pray for him. We have the appearance of Ruby Lee in the hospital with colon cancer. I mentioned Ruby Lee because I know all of you out there in ACIM Gather know who Ruby Lee is, and she was very prominent, still is, very prominent in ACIM Gather, did Festive Fridays, and so Ruby Lee is on our healing list. She has the appearance of colon cancer. And things like, the appearance of many people having to deal with the wind and water of Hurricane Irma. So that's really going on, and really appears to be going on, and we send our light and love to those people. Many of them have asked us to pray for them or pray about them. At some point in this process of years ago, like 6-8 years ago, we started involving certain of our ministers. So not only would we pray for the healing list on the first Friday of every month, but I had ministers like Reverend Regina Dawn Akers and Reverend Brad Patu, who would pray for the healing list all throughout the week, the month, maybe even daily. So I would send them the current healing list, and they would pray for it. So as I said, this program is an evolution. It's not actually something new. On January 1st of this year, we had to move. We moved away from the location where we had been in for 30 years, 29 plus years. And so we lost the, or we had to let go of, let's say we had to let go of having a meeting place that we could use 24/7. And we didn't have a meeting place to do the First Friday healing ritual anymore. Plus, over the years, I had seen, and I think we had seen at the Community Miracle Center, that doing something once a month is kind of a challenge. It's a challenge for people to remember that. They can't really make it a habit. It's not a weekly thing. It's hard for them to remember a monthly thing. So we just kind of let go of the First Friday healing ritual, that, and coupled with the fact that we didn't have a place to do it anyway. So for a while, we didn't have any way to really process our healing list. And it just sort of fell by the wayside for a little bit until a couple of months ago I just got the guidance that, we need to revive this in some way, because this was a large part of what we did, or it was an important thing that we existed as a healing ministry. And then I just received the guidance, got the idea that we could offer our healing list up right after the meditation at Sunday gathering. How perfect, how simple. It didn't need anything complex, just bring it into the Sunday gathering. So we did that a couple of months ago. And people really liked that. People, as soon as they saw that we were doing an active healing, they started sending us more healing requests. And people were really, really grateful that we were doing that. So that's how that evolved. And since it seemed so needed, and it seemed so welcomed, and it seemed so appreciated, I just asked for some guidance of how we could just increase that. You always try to increase that which is working. You just feel it naturally. This is a good thing. How can we make it better? And then I just got the guidance that we could involve more of our members in this. We're all healers. We're all Course in Miracles students, most of us anyway, and that's what we do. We are healers. We're studying this discipline to be healers, and so why not work with the healing list every day? All I have to do is make sure that I send it to people every day. I'm already sending all our members an email every day anyway, so I could just include the healing list, just to copy and paste the healing list, and just send it to the people who will agree to do this. I'm just not going to send it to everyone. I want people to make the commitment that they will, on a daily basis, just do something. You see how simple we did it. I just read the list, basically, and then had some thoughts afterwards to send it light and love. And people could do it however they wanted to, if they were willing to make that commitment. So that's what started, and put it out there to members. I'm talking to all our members about it individually, and I'm also talking to new people who hadn't been members, but like the idea of praying on a healing list every day, using their Course in Miracles healing skills in a real focused way. So we've gained 6 new members, I believe, and 9 of our other current members have also now signed up to be part of the healing team. So we have 15 people on the healing team right now, and I know we are going to get more. Now, I know that if you're steeped in the Unity School of Christianity or maybe religious science, the idea of mentioning the appearance at all or the illness is just really not something that you feel comfortable with. So I'm fine with that. That's how Unity and religious science do it. And I think that's great within that discipline. And people have challenged me about why we do the healing list the way that we do it. People have challenged me on that for years, and just my guidance to do it the way that we do it. But there are certain passages in A Course in Miracles that seem to give me support in that. Here's one. It's the one we quote a lot. It's Workbook Lesson 333. It says, conflict must be resolved. So you could say sickness must be resolved. It must be seen exactly as it is, where it is thought to be in the reality which has been given it, and with the purpose that the mind accorded it. For only then are its defenses lifted and the truth can shine upon it as it disappears. So there's a place for seeing things exactly as they appear. We don't stay at that perception, but we have to get what it is or how it's appearing. I mean, listen to that. Where it is thought to be in the reality which has been given it exactly as it is and with the purpose that the mind accorded it, because that's the only way you're going to lift your defenses on it. You have to kind of complete the experience. I remember that from my S training. You can't deny things. You got to get them. You got to complete the experience, perceive it, feel it, and then it can complete, and the energy that manifested it can dissipate. So it doesn't dissipate, at least not the way I think of things, by denying it and being almost afraid. I think some people are almost afraid to say the appearance, thinking that it strengthens it. But to me, that's that same idea. Like I don't go visit sick people in a hospital because I don't want to, buy into their appearance that they're ill. And well, okay, I understand that theoretically. It just doesn't seem very kind. It just doesn't seem very compassionate. And a person in a hospital with an illness, I want to be kind and compassionate. I want to go see him. I want to share my love. People have also talked about, well, how do you do that? How do you want us to do the list? I don't care. I want you to do it however you feel guided to do it. If you feel guided to spend a little time on each name and see them with light and love, well, that's great. But I think mostly is just be there with that person. Just be there with that energy. Be there with that appearance. And this was in the reading today, and I think it's really clear. It's talking about people who have illness. It says, to them, God's teachers come to represent another choice which they had forgotten. The simple presence of a teacher of God is a reminder. His thoughts, ask for the right to question what the patient has accepted, is true. So that's us, just a simple presence. You just being with these appearances, being with these people, your presence from your elevated consciousness is enough. That's all that actually is needed. Other than that, do whatever you feel guided to do. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever Spirit leads you to do. But just be with them. Just be with them. There is nothing more healing than just being with somebody. People in the healing arts know that. Ask them. You just be with them. You just be with them in non-judgment and in forgiveness and with love. And that is the healing. So we've been doing this now pretty extensively with the new format now, just a short period of time. It's about 3 weeks, I think. And the one thing I can say that it has strengthened my own daily lesson practice. I am practicing the lessons better than I have in a long time because I now have a reason, a mission. So I practice my lesson, I read the lesson of the day, I do my meditation. The lessons are short right now. Usually I read them 2, maybe even 3 times to really get the ideas, because my mind can gloss over some of those ideas, but to really get them, then I do a short meditation. I usually just do 5 or 6 minutes. That's what works for me. And then after that, I have my candle lit, like it's down there. I have my little healing wand that I got up at Mount Shasta a year or so ago. And I hold on to that. I like holding something in my hand when I do healing work. And then I just go through the list, maybe twice. And then maybe I say something after I'm done, to myself, to the people, send light, love. Maybe I don't, but I'm just with it. I'm just with those people, and that's it. And I'm sending the list out to people the night before. The list changes a little bit every couple days, something new's on it. After something's been on it a while, something drops off. And so that is just the way I do it. Course in Miracles says, if to love oneself is to heal oneself, those who are sick do not love themselves. Therefore, they are asking for the love that would heal them, but which they are denying to themselves. The light in another mind must shine into theirs, because that light is theirs. So that's how we heal. People who need healing are calling for love. And if we hear the call, then we extend the love. That's our job. And we need to do it. We need to do it for their sake. We need to do it for our sake. They are us. They are a manifestation of us. And the light in our minds, hopefully, shines into this other mind, and it blesses them, and it heals them. The light in another mind must shine into theirs, because that light is theirs. It's the same light, but that's how the healing happens. That's the expression of love. That's what miracles are. expression of love. That's what A Course in Miracles is about, to me anyway. I know people kind of arguing with me about this and kind of having these theoretical discussions about whether it's right or wrong. It's like, whatever. I'm fine to have the discussion to you, but I know this is right. It feels right in my soul. It feels right in my heart. I'm just extending love to someone or situations that appear to need it. Now, as I said, this is a program for members, supporting members of Community Miracle Center. And I got some instruction and some guidance about this, and this is the tricky part of the whole program. So I ask people to visualize their energy, their green energy, their money energy, and that this is a way of putting some of your green energy towards love, towards healing. If you just thought of it as $1 a day, do you have $1 a day to spend on healing and love? Think of all the things we spend money on. A cup of coffee now at places where I like to get it costs me $3. Costs me $3. And I just spend that. I don't even think about it, spend it. $1? I can spend $1 a day, or we ask people, or an even multiple of $1. I can spend whatever I get guided to a day towards healing. It's a redistribution of the world's resources. Instead of spending things on consumerism and chasing after things that I'm not even sure I really want, I sort of think I want them. I think I'm going to like the experience I have if I spend money on them. And, generally it doesn't feel all that satisfying, but I do it anyway. It's fine. But I can spend $1 a day, or $2 a day, or $3 or $5 on healing. And that supports this organization that has become the magnet for these requests and this procedure. So we get those requests because of the organization that we are. And that organization needs support, and this is a way to do it. We're supporting healing. So actually, I'm asking people to actually put their contribution right on their little healing altar. People have a lot of trouble with this. Nobody wants to put money on their little healing altar. Because like money is something negative or something. And that just shows you how messed up we are about money, that we're not willing to put it on our healing altar. But anyway, I put my $5 bill, I put it right, by my candle and by my little healing wand. I actually carry the $5 bill that I use around with me. It reminds me during the day what I'm spending my resources on. I'm spending my resources on healing. And when you talk about this program to people, it's very interesting. Because every time you get to the money part, you feel people's resistance. Everybody just gets a little nervous around the money. And that's because we've just all been so steeped in this lie that things are scarce, that resources are scarce. And we've been living in that lie for a really, really, really long time. And it's just not true. Scarcity is not the truth. A long time ago, actually in 1976, a visionary person, teacher, scientist, leader, whose name is Buckminster Fuller. Maybe some of you know who Buckminster Fuller was, 1976. He was in his 80s, I believe, at this time. So he was an older gentleman. But he told an audience that he was about to say the most important thing that he had ever said in his long career. The most important thing. And so everybody perked up, and I heard about this from a person who was there in that audience, a person who I find very inspiring. And what she said is that Buckminster said that the world was in a particular moment, and that the world had passed a threshold. And it was now possible, he says, because we've learned to do more and more with less and less, it is now possible for everyone to have enough resources to live a happy and productive life. He says it's no longer, scarcity is no longer the truth. It is now possible for everyone to live a healthy and productive life. There is a sufficiency of resources. It's not an insufficiency. That it's not a you or me world anymore. That it's actually a you and me world. We both can have enough to live a happy and productive life. He goes, that happened. And he said that it's going to take 50 years, though, for it to really permeate the consciousness of society. Because the institutions of society, the churches, the schools, the government, are still steeped in that idea of lack and scarcity. And so they're all going to have to evolve. It's probably going to take about 50 years, which would put it at 2026. Okay, 9 more years. But we're getting closer. So I think it's taking hold. So we actually do live in a world of enough. And we need to let go of these ideas of scarcity. It's actually a lie. And A Course in Miracles tells us that too. And this is in the Miracles Principles. They say miracles thus correct and atone for the faulty perception of lack anywhere. Any perception of lack is actually a broken perception. It's faulty. It's not the truth. So think about that, and think about, this just permeates all of our consciousness, this idea that there's not enough. Okay, so the woman that was listening to Buckminster Fuller, her name is Lynn Twist. She's been around for a long time. She's the woman who spearheaded the Hunger Project for the EST organization a number of years ago. And she has a whole ministry now. She probably wouldn't call it a ministry, a whole teaching around lack and sufficiency, about how that lack is a lie and that sufficiency is actually the truth. And she has what's called a law of sufficiency, or the principle of sufficiency. And I really like it, so I'm going to say it. And her name, as I said, is Lynn Twist. She teaches a technology called the Soul of Money, fundraising from the heart. This is it. This is the law of sufficiency. When you let go of trying to get more of what you don't really need, which is all that we're all trying to get more of, it frees up an immense amount of energy. She calls them oceans of energy to make a difference with what you have. And when you make a difference with what you have multiplies. Now, let me say it again. When you let go of trying to get more of what you don't really need, which is all that we're all trying to get more of, it frees up an immense amount of energy, oceans of energy, to make a difference with what you have. And when you make a difference with what you have, it multiplies. So that's all that I'm challenging people to do, to make a difference with what you have. Spend a little bit, $1 a day, of what you have for healing, for something that you really want, for love, for miracles, for expressions of love. Move it in that area instead of towards consumerism, instead of towards hoarding and cluttering and storage lockers, which is, just us struggling to get more of what we don't really need. Free up that energy, make a difference with what you have, and then what you have will multiply. Contact us. Join the healing team. I need healers. We need healers. That list goes out every day. And new things get added to it. And people find it tremendously supportive. And we get emails and testimonials of healings, and then I share all those with the team as well. I'll share some with people here after the gathering. It's a great thing to do. We would love to have you as part of the healing team. I'll end with just one more quote from A Course in Miracles. Forget not that the healing of God's Son is all the world is for. That is the only purpose the Holy Spirit sees in it, and thus the only one it has. Until you see the healing of the Son as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time, and all appearances, you will not know the Father or yourself. If we want to know ourselves, if we want to know God, we have to see the healing of the Son, all of us, and the world, as all we want to do here. Devote a little of your energy in this direction. Join us. Dedicate yourselves to healing with us. We welcome you. Amen.